everyone? It's the attorney Abe Cepeda coming to you one more time, this time to talk about the 10 things that will happen, or that I believe will happen, when Trump takes office as it pertains to immigration. As you know, I've been practicing immigration law for many, many years, and I will be able to tell you what I believe he's going to do based on what he did last time that he was president, based on what he said he's going to do, and based on what's mentioned in Project 2025. So let's get right into the list. I know that's why you're here. Number one will be to end TPS and DACA. Yep, those two programs that are iconic, that have helped so many people, will probably be dead. He will probably either end them by executive order or let them die on the vine and just expire. TPSs are normally renewed every year and DACAs every 2 years, so it will be very easy for him to just let them expire and not renew them, or he can choose to just end them through executive order at the beginning of his presidency. Number two, humanitarian parole. This is that parole that many people from Ukraine, Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua have been able to obtain prior to coming to the United States, which allowed them to enter legally into the United States, work, and remain here until their parole expires. This program will likely be done away with again through executive order, or he will allow those permissions to end, not renew them, and then those people will become undocumented and subject to his other deportation programs. Which brings us to number three, mass deportation and arrest. Yep, rounding people up in the streets, at work, probably at church, and other places, and taking them into ICE custody so that they can be deported. As we know, people have a due process right, so they will probably still get hearings, but they will be in ICE custody, or those hearings could be expedited hearings. So this is what he has been announcing, so it's very likely that we will see mass deportation and mass arrest of people. And remember, when he says criminal aliens, he doesn't mean people who have been in the United States and then committed a crime. He means that because you're here and you're undocumented, you are a criminal alien, and therefore he does not want you in the country and will be part of his deportation process. All right, number four is limit or take away the right to bond. Bond is bail. You know it as bail in the criminal system and immigration system. It's known as bond. He can limit bond or take bond away. This means that all those people that get rounded up, that get arrested, and that start their case in immigration court may have to wait in prison during their entire case, rather than being released and being able to continue to work and live in the United States while their case is being adjudicated. It is likely that they will remain incarcerated during that time period, and that could be a long time period, as many immigration court cases last 3 or 4 years before they reach a resolution, and some last even longer. That takes us to the next point. We believe that he will close the border and reinstitute the Remain in Mexico program. This means that people coming into the United States that want to apply for programs like asylum or protection under the Convention Against Torture or other immigration programs will need to remain in Mexico while their dispute in court is handled. While their application is processed, they will have to remain in Mexico and not be allowed into the interior of the country. That brings us to number six. Not only will you have to remain in Mexico if you're trying to apply for asylum at the southern border, but asylum will be more difficult to get. It is likely that there will be a heightened standard for asylum, which is already very difficult to get, and that he will use his attorney general to change case law in order to make asylum more difficult. Why do I say this? Well, that's what he did last time. Jeff Sessions took certain cases, changed the case law and the holding of those cases, and then boom, asylum became way more difficult. Funny, those were for claims of mainly for people from South and Central America. But Now we will see that this will probably happen even more widespread and that more cases will be changed to make the asylum standards even more difficult. Number 7, take away work permits for people trying to apply for asylum. Again, one of the great things about the asylum process is that even if there's a delay, after 150 days, you can apply for a work permit. That way you can maintain yourself, pay for your things, and work legally here in the United States while your case is pending. That will likely go away. This will make the asylum process less attractive to people. It'll make it more difficult for people to wait for those asylum processes and ultimately end up with the result they want: less people obtaining asylum here in the United States. Number 8 is reinstating the public charge ground to many applications, such as adjustment of status, citizenship, or consular processing. This means that when you go to apply for your citizenship or when you go to apply at a consulate to enter the United States as a permanent resident or in another capacity, you would have to show that you have sufficient funds, sufficient earnings to not be a charge on the public, so that you can show that you will be over the grounds of poverty, that you can show that you won't need any kind of assistance when you're here in the United States. And this will make applications more difficult, it will make applications longer, and it will reach the end result of causing most people to not be able to enter the United States, except for those that are already independently wealthy, because this does not take into account what you may make once you're in the United States working at a job, but that you have to show that you're already at that level prior to entering the United States, or if you're becoming a citizen, prior to becoming a citizen, and if you're adjusting status, prior to becoming a permanent resident. This makes it very difficult for anybody who's not already independently wealthy to obtain these statuses. Now let's get to some other big news. Number 9 on our list, denaturalization. Yep, you heard it. Denaturalization. You might be like, what's that, Abe? Well, it's removing your citizenship, taking your citizenship away. If you were not born here and you obtain citizenship by having to swear the oath, you may have that citizenship stripped from you. This can happen from a variety of reasons. It could be that something was omitted in one of your applications, the citizenship application or one of the applications that you put in earlier to obtain legal permanent residence. It could mean that there was a lie on your application, that there was a misrepresentation, that the officer maybe let something slide but they don't believe you had good moral character. There could be many reasons why they believe that you were not eligible for citizenship when you were granted citizenship, and therefore they can try to take away your citizenship. This is something they wanted to do back when Trump took office the first time. They didn't have their game plan together. They asked for funding, and they were never able to get the program really rolling, although they were able to strip a few people's citizenship. It wasn't a lot. But this time they have said that they want to do this in a turbocharged manner, that they want to make this something big, and that they want to strip a lot of people's citizenships. So if you're one of those folks that naturalized but you voted for Trump, you might be at risk of losing your citizenship. So you might be in the same boat as everybody else that's here undocumented, and you might lose your right to be in this country as well. Lastly, we'll get to the birthright citizenship. You heard me. Number 10 is changing birthright citizenship. Now you might say, oh, Abe, but that's in the Constitution. How can he change birthright citizenship? Abe, he can't do that. Yes, he can. I read the case law. You should read the case law too. There are exceptions to that law, which means that if you are born here to a person that's not an American, and we are under occupation, or as he likes to say, under invasion, or there's an enemy from within, which is literally what the case says, an enemy from within, then those people born to them would not be citizens upon their birth. This is something that we've never really instituted here in the United States. I guess because we've never felt like we've been under invasion or had an enemy from within. But if you see during the last campaign, those terms have been used all the time. The enemy from within. And people are like, oh yeah, no, this is why he was saying that. The enemy from within, saying that people at the southern border are an invasion. That is so that they can institute this program of denying birthright citizenship to people born in the United States. Will they do it retroactively? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I will tell you that this is high on their plan of things they want to do and end birthright citizenship for people born in the United States. Those are the 10 things that I believe will happen. Now, there's going to be more things, obviously. I don't know the timetable for these things. These are my opinions on what will happen based on what he has said, what he has done, and what's in the framework of the proposal that he put out through Project 2025. So it is very likely that these things will happen, but they haven't occurred yet. What can you do now? We can't change what happened on November, so all we can do is prepare. We can get our stuff together, we can get the documents together, we can start any processes that you might have available to you so that you can legalize and avoid many of these programs and many of these processes that will be used against you. So if you need a consultation, if you want to figure out how you can legalize in this country, if you want to figure out whether you have any options or what you can do, give us a call. Our number's on the screen, our email's on the screen, and we will try to help you as best as we can. And I will be putting out videos and information about changes as they happen. I'm also going to go into these 10 points more in depth. I'm going to put out some videos about each of those points individually to kind of give you a little bit more information on what you can expect if you're in one of those 10 categories. God bless you. Hope things get better for all of us in this country, and I will be here to help you every step of the way.